Hi, and welcome to the weekly general reading for Monday, January 7th, 2019. Yes, I am wearing PJs because I just love to be comfortable when I'm doing my readings. I actually think it helps, you know? And these PJs are especially comfortable. Anyway, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at the general energy, the dynamics, and maybe what's going to happen for the next 7 days, okay? This is going up on Monday the 7th, 2019. However, if you're watching this and it's not that week, it is a timeless reading, so just apply it to the week that you're in right now, okay? That said, the orange cat is pile number 1, the gray cat is pile number 2, the Siamese cat is pile number 3, the Tuxedo Cat is pile number 4, the Persian cat is pile number 5, and the gray Tabby cat is pile number 6. Alright, anything you need to know about me is in the description below. That includes contact information, information about private readings, and there's some donation links too. I get asked about that a lot. If there's any pick a card readings that you'd like for me to do, please leave them in the comments. I will put them on my list. I will get them there, and I'll probably get around to them. You know, I've got a big list at this point, you know, guys. So just know that if I haven't done yours yet, it's not because I don't want to. It's because I just haven't gotten to it yet. All right, guys? Alrighty. So we're going to go ahead and look at what this next week has in store for you, okay? So let's go ahead and start with pile number 1. Those of you who still need time to make your decision, go ahead and pause the video and think about it. And then you can resume once you've made your decision. Okay, so those of you who picked the orange cat or the Garfield cat, as my partner calls it. Oh, interesting. Okay, so we do have some pain this week, okay? Remember, this is a general, so it doesn't necessarily mean pain and love, okay? But there's going to be something painful about this week for you. So yeah, keep that in mind. I just want to kind of move on to the next ones though, because we also have some kind of like party or celebration. It might even just be you with a group of your friends. You know, it might just be something that you do regularly, like going to lunch together or having dinner together or just spending time together. It's like you and your group of friends, and there's some kind of heartache that has to go along with that. It actually might be referring to one of your friends that's going to have a really, really bad time. Because otherwise it doesn't really make sense to also have this 10 of coins here that's, you know, talking about how you've got material gains and wealth, and, you know, these two cats happen to be the cats depicted on the Lover's card, so it's like this is, you know, abundance and happiness and that kind of thing. Just remember this heartache, you know. I think that for some of you, it's going to be you yourself. There's going to be something that's going to upset you. But for a lot of you, it's actually going to be a friend or maybe a brother or sister, somebody that you're really close with, you know, maybe a coworker that you really, like. It's something's going to happen to them, and it's going to affect you. Okay. So just kind of keep that in mind. So it's interesting because in our spirit animal, we've got the panther spirit. And this is about reclaiming your power. When we talk about reclaiming our power, we just talk about, like, be who you are. Don't let other people control you. For example, you know, I'm giving a reading right now, okay? I'm doing it intuitively. And, you know, I might be right for most of the people, but maybe I'm not right for you. Don't let me take your power, okay? You say, you know what? Nah, this isn't for me. This particular reading's not working out. And take that power back, because, you know, you should never give somebody else enough power to override your own free will, okay? And that's a really important lesson. I do want to mention that we've got 44, and we also have the number 4 here, and it just feels like I needed to tell you that, okay? This is a 3 and this is a 10. We also have investigate. Okay, so there's something that you need to look into. I think that this also has to do with a friend. I don't feel like it has to do with anybody like romantic. It might have something to do with work too, but I think that for most of you it has to do with a friend. So I really feel like there's a lot of energy around friends. And if you're really close to your brother and sister, it would be like your family members that you're really close with, or a cousin, you know, somebody like that. We do have some luck coming your way. I do think that that's referencing this material gain here, or just feeling on top of things, okay? And then we've got, you know, just be aware of divine timing, be aware of the different cycles, be aware that some things are still hidden from you, and that they'll reveal themselves in time. So if you're waiting for somebody to reveal something to you, like maybe their feelings or maybe their thoughts about something, maybe you have a job review coming up, or maybe somebody that you're really interested in, you know, it's like, you know, they have feelings, but they haven't told you yet. You know, that kind of thing. Just know that it'll come in time, okay? So keep that in mind. It really does look like you're going to have a lot of interesting things going on. The only negative really is this Three of Swords. But again, you know, we're talking about the week in general. We're not talking about necessarily heartache. I mean, it could be for some of you, but I really feel like this has to do with just you're noticing pain this week. I mean, another thing it might be is just some kind of like global event or international event that might touch your heart as well. It's just like something is affecting you, and I really feel like it has to do with your friends here. Okay, so that said, that looks like that's gonna be your week for the next 7 days. All right, guys. Okay, those of you who picked pile number 2, the gray cat. Let's see what's in store for you. Okay, so we've got some major arcana cards. We've got the Moon. We've got the Chariot, and in between them we have the Nine of Swords. Okay, so one thing about the Moon is that it often talks about things that are hidden, things in the darkness, things in the shadows, but it can also talk about illusions. Okay, so when we've got the Moon and we've got the Nine of Swords, which I call the Nightmare card, it's like you've got two things that are letting me know that you're gonna be having issues at night. You might be having issues with your sleep, or you might be up worrying, you know, that kind of thing. I mean, you might have issues with your sleep as in actually having nightmares, or you might be worrying a lot. So what I would tell you is remember that some of the things, like when you get kind of stuck in that worry mode, or when you you know, have a nightmare, one thing you can help reassure yourself about it is that's an illusion, okay? You don't really know what's going on until you experience it, okay? So anything that's in your head that you're worrying about or catastrophizing or anxious about, you know, is illusion you're creating for yourself. Now, that doesn't mean that you're always wrong, you know, but it's just, I really feel like there's this kind of tendency right now for those of you who picked this pile to go the negative route rather than kind of seeing clearly, okay? I also feel like you guys have a lot of stuff on your plate, or at least many of you do, like a lot of stuff on your plate. It's like you took on too many tasks, you're feeling overwhelmed. But the good news is here we've also got the Chariot, which lets me know that you're going to be moving forward, okay? There is going to be forward movement. You're going to make some progress. So it's not like you're stuck. It's just that, you know, something that's going to be bothering you is either restless nights or nightmares, okay? Or maybe there's going to be just a lot of worrying, but it's something that happens at night. And again, there's illusions that have to do with that, okay? Well, this could be keeping you up. We also have the Lilies, which is a sex card. And we have the two different paths, okay? So this lets me know that you have a couple of options when it comes to people who find you sexually attractive and might want to hook up with you, okay? So that could definitely keep you awake at night, right? Seriously though, I mean, this is letting me know that, you know, you might be kind of torn between two people, or you might be in a situation where like eventually you're gonna have to pick one or the other, that kind of thing, and that's something that's really you know, bothering you. But again, you know, with the Chariot, one thing that's kind of interesting about the Chariot is that there's a kind of a duality with this card. Usually it's depicted as a black and a white horse, okay? And the imagery is similar on this one. I just wanted to let you guys know that so that you would have some context. In this case, we have a very colorful peacock, and then we have a very, like an albino peacock, okay? So the colors are significant because it lets you know that you're struggling with two different things that are usually opposing. And when the Chariot moves forward, though, you're using both of those things to move forward. So as weird as it might sound, I don't think that this week is going to be the time to make that choice. I just see that there's a struggle with the choice, and it has to do with sexuality, or there's definitely a sexual attraction involved with these two people, okay? We also have, oh, this is very good. We've got the Dove Spirit, which is be at peace. I think that that's great advice, especially when we have, you know, restless nights, worrying, anxiety, that kind of stuff. And really, if you guys, you know, if you guys are experiencing any kind of anxiety that is really excessive and getting in the way of your ability to function, then go see somebody about it, okay? Because I'm not a doctor. You know, I can just point to what it is, but I can't really tell you how to solve that, you know, legally. Alrighty. And then we have escape. So it's like, I think that this is really interesting because in what I call the nightmare card, this number 9, it's kind of like the same kind of imagery. We've got like, you've got a cat that's like, you know, really like being closed in on, and it's like they want to get away from it, okay? And that tends to be an impulse that people have when they have really bad anxiety or panic attacks. It's really interesting. In fact, when I was studying in school, one of the things that I found out was that there's an overabundance of people that are afraid that they're going to jump out of windows when they have a panic attack inside a building, which I think is really interesting. When I was a teenager, which was half my life ago, I had panic attacks for about a year and a half after one of my very, very close friends died. And I always felt like I needed to go jump out of one of the windows if I was at school, and it was like such a strange and bizarre desire. You know, it was just, I mean, even at the time it seemed ridiculous to me, but apparently that's the thing. So you're going to be feeling a need to escape, okay? How to do that? Try to distract yourself. I mean, at least this is what I'd say. Try to distract yourself with maybe a video game or a crossword puzzle, or just something to keep your mind occupied on something that takes up all of your mind, like playing a musical instrument maybe, maybe watching a movie or a TV show. It's just something where your whole mind is engaged, so that you can kind of get some of that escapism. Sometimes that's the appropriate thing to do. Obviously, some people choose drugs and alcohol. I would not recommend that, but that might work. I mean, I'm definitely not recommending that though. But yeah, you know, it just seems like there's a lot of restless, like nervous energy and anxiety. What I do want to say is that I always read for just the week, okay? So we're just talking about the next 7 days. So, after that, you can come back next Monday and see, you know, how things have changed for you, okay? Alrighty. Okay, pile number 3. Those of you who picked the Siamese Cat, let's see what's in store for you this week. Okay, so we've got the Devil. We've got the King of Coins, and then we've got the Queen of Cups. Oh, wow. We've got some major cards here. Okay, so I feel like the Devil energy in this one is like there's something that you know is unhealthy in your life that you need to fix, you need to get out of. Okay, I don't even think it's that big of a deal. I think some of you might have some issues with addiction, or you guys might have some issues with, you know, a really toxic person in your life or something like that, and I don't want to minimize that, but I feel like for most of you, it's not like it's a huge deal. It's not a huge thing. It's more like there's something that's been bothering you that you know that you need to get rid of, or you know isn't healthy for you, and it looks like this week you're going to be confronting that. So it's kind of like shadow work. You're confronting the part of you that you kind of want to banish, right? just know that in order to get rid of it, in order to make it go away, you also have to allow yourself to understand that you're human, and sometimes you do things that aren't healthy for you, and that's okay, right? It might have to do with material stuff. It might have to do with like overspending or something having to, I mean, again, it's just material, something in the world, you know. So, you know, keep that in mind, because we do have the King of Coins. Otherwise, there's going to be, either you're being represented by the King of Coins and you feel like you have a lot of resources, or it's somebody in your life is, you know, has a lot of resources and are going to help you out with something, okay? And then, again, we have the Queen of Cups, all right? So we still have royalty energy here, you know. We've got some cards that indicate some very mature thinking when it comes to the Pentacles and Cups, okay? So we've got the Queen of Cups, who is, she's not only able to be emotional and be okay with that without, I guess, compromising her intellectual integrity, although I do have to say that that is more of a social construct than reality. Anybody who's emotional they're just emotional and that's it, you know? I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. It's just that society sometimes looks down on that kind of stuff, or being overly expressive, which I think is ridiculous, but that's me. But yeah, the Queen of Cups, we've got some deep emotions, but we also have some really deep intuition too. So I really feel like you guys are going to be seeing when you're just walking around, when you're just, you know, interacting with the typical people you interact with every day, you're going to be noticing that you're seeing through people a little bit better. Maybe somebody has been deceitful with you and you can see, you know, how they're misrepresenting themselves, for example. I'm not getting anything, at least not yet, that lets me know that there's any deceit going on. I'm just using that as an example. Or maybe you're really aware that maybe one of your friends has a crush on somebody, or that somebody at your office is interested in you, or something like that. Those are the kinds of things to look out for that. Okay, so it looks like you're going to have a really important message coming to you, okay? And usually when I get this card, I feel like it's in person, right? But I actually feel like for some of you, it's going to be more like an email or a text message, okay? So it could be any form of communication, but it's coming really fast. This would be in the first part of the week, not the last part, you know? And something about this communication is going to feel like really divinely timed. It's going to give you some direction, and it's going to feel like, I really feel like it might be like kind of on social networking, you know, too. But it's going to really help you feel a lot, like, it feels more calm. It feels like one of those situations. I mean, I can only describe it by saying, like, it's like, oh, I finally got it. Okay. You know, it's like that kind of feeling, like, oh, okay, you know, like, or it's the kind of feeling like, oh, I don't have to worry about this anymore, thank goodness, you know, that kind of thing. So I think for some of you, it would be something like, you know, an acceptance into maybe a school you applied for, or like an acceptance to a job or a job offer. And I think for other ones of you, it's going to be just a message from a friend or somebody that you really care about, okay? Okay, so interestingly enough, we've got Parrot Spirit. Watch your words. This might have something to do with the Devil card. I mean, you guys might have issues with, you know, maybe you'd like to not use naughty words as much, you know? That kind of thing. I feel kind of silly using it that way. It's like saying naughty words, like, but, you know, I'm a mom, so I tend to use the words that I use with my kids sometimes, you know? But yeah, it's like, make sure that you're thinking really hard before you speak this time, this week, you know? And I feel like, and I'm not saying that you guys don't, okay? Please know that. But I just feel like there's this kind of bluntness that's going to be coming out more this week. And that's good because you're being authentic and you're, you know, really truly representing yourself. But in some ways you could get in trouble doing that. So be careful. I mean, this could be something as simple as like, well, it's not simple when this happens, but like it could be something like you're with your partner and you're you know, being intimate, and you might say the name of somebody else, for example. You know, just, it would be something like that, like something that would be very hurtful, or something that would, you know, might get you in trouble, that kind of thing. So that's the kind of thing that I'm talking about. Oh, I also feel like this is like, you don't need to repeat yourself. Also, if you find yourself needing to repeat yourself a lot with somebody, just go ahead and refuse to play the game. Just be like, you know, I've already told you, I'm not, you know, you already know this, or, you know, or you come across, you know, a situation where somebody has, maybe violated your trust or let you down or something like that. And it's like, you always say, okay, look, I really can't have this happen or whatever. Instead of saying that, just be like, you know, you know that this is a problem. I'm not going to say anything else. You know what you need to do to solve it, and that's it. You know, that kind of thing. Because if you get into a situation like that, and you get to the point where you're not even, like, you're just so upset that you're not even talking about how upset you are, it can really alert somebody that, whoa, this is a big deal. You know, something's changed here, you know, and that might actually be the extra thing that they need. You know, they need to get through this. You know, again, we had this King of Coins come up, and I said maybe they'll help you out, you know, with like resources. And I'm not talking necessarily just money. I mean helping you out with resources, like, you know, maybe they're giving you access to their library, or they're, you know, helping you out by hooking you up with a job interview, or something like that. Maybe it's one of your parents that, you know, gives you some money to get an apartment or something like that, okay? It's like that. We also have the help card in this deck too. So I really do feel like these two are connected. I really feel like if you're in a situation where you might feel like you need to ask for help, but you might feel a little prideful to ask, or a little embarrassed to ask, or just, it's just going to be awkward if you ask, that kind of thing. Go ahead and ask, because this week it's showing me that it's okay. It's okay to ask this week, okay? It's okay to ask for help this week. You're going to be fine. Alrighty? Okay. So it looks like you guys have a very interesting week. Alrighty, those of you who picked pile number 4, the Tuxedo Cat. My cat is a Tuxedo Cat. I have a lot of cats actually, but those are my other family members' cats, so it's kind of interesting. Okay, so we've got the 8 of Wands. We have the Queen of Swords, and we have the 5 of Rods. Okay, so this is interesting. Now the 8 of Wands, okay, there's the traditional meaning of this, and I'm only saying this because to some of you this is probably what this means, okay? But I'm gonna read it a little bit differently based on the picture in this book. Usually it means like moving really, really fast, okay? And it might be appropriate to move really fast, but it also might be appropriate to kind of pace yourself a little bit more, okay? And those of you who that's a message, I think you'll know who you are and which way it's supposed to go, okay? Because, I mean, it should be feeling like it should be very obvious to you that it's like, whoa, I'm moving too fast. Or it should be very obvious to you that, you know, oh, okay, I need to pace myself, you know, that kind of thing. So yeah, so the 5 of Swords, I'm sorry, you know what, I'm gonna go back, and this isn't swords, it's rods. So the 8 of Wands, I think, in this particular reading for this week means that you're gonna be planting a lot of seeds, okay? You're gonna be planting a lot of seeds, and you're gonna be feeling really, really creative. And that creativity is going to be affected, oh my goodness, I'm embarrassed, I'm about to sneeze, I think. Hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm so embarrassed. That's a false alarm. I was just like, oh, if I sneeze and I make like a really loud noise, I'm gonna be so embarrassed. Okay, so anyway, the 8 of Rods, In this case, you know, it might be talking about creative endeavor or planting seeds, you know, really spelling out your intentions. And sometimes when we do that, we just kind of like, well, just whatever, you know. For example, if I was single and I was hoping that I might hook up with somebody, and you know, I'd just be like, you know, it would be reaching that point where it's like, okay, I'll just take anybody who's gonna come, you know. It's kind of like that, whatever, you know, kind of like tossing the seeds to the wind, you know. I feel like it's more that idea than it's like setting your intentions, like, okay, I want somebody who is, I'm just pretending, okay, I'm just, you know, somebody who is financially stable, who plays an instrument and can talk to me about psychology, you know, and you know, that's like narrowing it down a little bit there, okay? So basically what I would, my suggestion is for this week, instead of kind of tossing things to the wind, be really specific about what you want, okay? So like I said, using that metaphor, it would be like, if you're interested in trying to attract somebody, you know, it would be more like, okay, I want somebody who's, you know, and fill in the blank with whatever it is you want, you know? I want somebody who's really independent. I want somebody with long hair. I want somebody who has a great body. I want somebody who has a great mind, you know, that kind of thing. The Five of Rods lets me know that there's going to be a little bit of competition or even arguing this week. I don't feel like it's going to be a big deal, but I do feel that you're going to reach a point where it's like bothering you to the point where you're going to just have to be kind of snappy with it and just kind of be like, you know what, I'm not going to do this. You know, that kind of thing. I just see that you're just not going to take it. You know, you're just going to be like, you know what, whatever. I'm not going to do this. This isn't, you know, it's like drama. It's more drama than like literal fighting. Okay, so you're going to have a really good balance between your public life and your home life, which is good. You know, for some of you, for some of you that might actually be a little terrifying, because those of us who are introverted, you know, see something like this and they're like, wait a minute, I don't want a good balance that way. Or those of us who are extroverted are like, wait a minute, I don't want to spend a whole lot of time at home. But it'll feel comfortable for you guys, okay? It really will. So there's that going on. This might even just indicate going back to work or going back to school this week, you know, something like that. We have Bobcat Spirit, which I think is a mystery, okay? And I think that that's really interesting. You know, and the reason I think it's interesting is that when I do a reading, it's like the purpose is to kind of lift the veil and see the mystery behind the veil, right? But sometimes I'll lift the veil and I'll get the veil itself, right? So it's like right now, it's like you're supposed to feel a little bit kind of like lost right now. It's okay. There's a time and place for everything, and now's just your time to feel a little bit confused and a little bit lost right now. That will resolve itself. It's just not going to resolve itself this week, okay? And then we also have boldness, okay? So don't be afraid to go after what you want, okay? And I think that this really has to do with this Eight of Wands energy with like planting your seeds, okay? Don't be afraid to go after what you want, because, you know, people who do that, they tend to get what they want, you know. Maybe they have a whole lot of failures, you know, in the, you know, along the way, but they have a whole lot more, you know, successes as well. So yeah, don't be afraid to be bold. And also, like, in any kind of conflict or competition or anything like that, don't be afraid to be bold there either, okay? So, those of you who picked pile number 5, the Persian cat, let's see what your week's gonna be like. All right, so we have, oh, you're gonna be, this looks like a good week. You've got the Wheel of Fortune, so things are gonna be real lucky for you. They're looking up. You're approaching this week with a very positive outlook, and it's appropriate. That's a very appropriate way to approach it. Then we've got the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is like, you know, that's one of the cards that you want to get when you're talking about a romantic, a romantic inquiry, because the Knight of Cups is revealing something of their feelings to you. They're showing you their depth. They're making you an offer that has to do with partnership and that kind of thing. So this could be a romantic partner, but it could also be somebody at work. It could be somebody who wants to work with you on a school project. It could be somebody who just comes, maybe you break down on the side of the road and you need to change the tire, and oh my gosh, you don't know how to change the tire, and somebody drives by and stops and helps you change the tire, It's just somebody who's like offering something to you that you're going to really need or you really want, okay? And then we've got the Nine of Wands, and I feel like the Nine of Wands is like, and I just want to acknowledge that this isn't the traditional meaning. It's just, this is intuitively what I feel like this one is. It's like, you've got everything like almost lined up, right? But there's like this one thing that's just kind of getting in the way of everything. It looks like that's what you're going to be focusing on this week, okay? You're going to be focusing on getting that last thing taken care of, For example, me and my partner wanted to take a vacation to Australia, and we didn't, even though we had enough money to buy the plane tickets, we decided to wait until after we sold our house, because we moved recently, and we ended up paying like 2 mortgages at the same time because we were fixing up that house first. So we decided, okay, well, we'll go ahead and plan to do this, but we're not going to do it until after we've sold the house. And then like that last step for us would have been, okay, the house is sold, now we can go ahead and make that purchase without worrying that maybe we're dipping too much into savings or whatever, okay? So it would be something like that, just the final thing that you need to do before you can do something else. Okay, so we have the Scarab Beetle spirit. Magic works through you. I also, I'm getting really intuitive. For you guys, it's very, very intuitive here. I also feel like there's going to be some really amazing synchronicities that are going to be happening to you this week. And if you want to learn more about why I'm saying that, go ahead and look up Carl Jung. Some people pronounce it Jung. It's C-A-R-L. And the last name is spelled J-U-N-G, okay? So yeah, go ahead and look him up and look up his name and Scarab Beetle, and you'll see why I say that. But I do feel like there's some kind of like really uncanny coincidence. I mean, I'm not talking about like you're thinking about a song and it comes on the radio. I'm talking about something big, something just really out of nowhere. So look forward to that, okay? And it's an interesting one. We've got practice, okay? Maybe you're needing to perform sometime soon. Maybe you're a musician, or you're going to have to make a speech. Or, you're trying to get better at something. It's telling you, practice, put in some diligence in there. Maybe you're trying to get to a different point in your relationship and you feel like, oh, I want to communicate better, but I don't even know if this is worth it. Go ahead and practice that new communication style or whatever it is. And you'll be able to get a lot better. And then we have new movement here. This is kind of an interesting combination. Okay. This could have to do, it really could have to do with a child, like there's a new child, because these are the storks, okay? We have storks and a child, so I do want to mention that, there is definitely a connection there, which I hope you guys can figure out for yourselves, because I can't give any kind of medical advice there. This is also like new movement, okay? Movement that's new, movement that's playful, that kind of thing. And when I talk about movement, I mean, it could be a mental, like it could be like changing your perspective. It could be like you're feeling more lighthearted, or you're feeling something new that you haven't felt in a long time. Or it could be like moving forward and something new that you're moving forward with. And given that we have this Knight of Cups here, it could be like moving forward with a partner. Or a new new person's coming into your life, and they're going to be like offering you their heart, and they're going to be like, let's see where this goes and all of that kind of stuff. And you're feeling so lucky, and it's a big coincidence because whatever's happening in your life. You know, I mean, it could be that too, is basically what I'm saying. You know, there's a lot of different ways to interpret this. But it, you know, since it's a general reading, I can only go so far. Something new, either that or literally the stork has a child here. So anyway, this looks very positive. So far, you guys have had the most positive reading, for the week. So good. That's awesome. It seemed like there was something I was going to say, and now I can't remember what it was. Just give me a moment, because I might remember it. Just give me a moment. Okay, I remember what I was going to say. It's not really that big of a deal. I was just going to say, you know, the practice card can also be connected to the luck card, because remember, we make our own luck, okay? I mean, we feel lucky when something, you know, comes to us that we've been wanting for a while, or when we experience something that's just, you know, really cool, you know, that kind of thing, or when we finally, you know, find the right person for us, or whatever it is, you know. We feel lucky, you know, for things like that, or, you know, winning a little bit on the lottery ticket, or whatever it is that your thing is. But also know that in order to win with, you know, in the game of luck, you do also have to practice, okay? So kind of keep that in mind too, because I think that those two are connected as well. Alrighty, guys. Okay, pile number 6. Those of you who picked the gray tabby cat. Okay, so we've got the King of Cups, okay? We also have the Emperor, okay? So let me go ahead and say, this is a male, okay? There's a male figure. It's either you or it's somebody in your life, okay? And they're very balanced right now, okay? So maybe this is a boss, maybe this is a boyfriend, maybe it's a love interest, maybe it's your lover, maybe it's your husband, you know, it's this person, you know, is being very balanced here. Excuse me. And I also feel like this has been a long time coming. Like you've been waiting for this person to, like, you know, kind of get their act together. So this is gonna be a good week for you guys if it's that. If it's you, you know, good. You're starting to be more you know, you're starting to be more responsible, or you're starting to, you know, see things from multiple perspectives, or something to that effect. And I really don't mean to be patronizing. It's hard for me to be balanced like that. Naturally, I'm much more thinking oriented than I am feeling oriented, but when I feel my feelings, I feel them very strongly, and so I tend to swing between those two things, you know, staying mostly on the thinking side, but yeah, if I was, you know, experiencing this, I'd give myself a pat on the back. This also might have to do with the long distance relationship. I always mention that when I see a boat. Just to let you know. And if you've been experiencing like confusion, or it's like you need clarity in a situation and that kind of thing, now's going to be the time that things clear up, okay? However, this is going to be a big change, and because it's a big change, it's going to be kind of like a tower moment, because it's like, again, like if you've been waiting for this kind of energy to come about for this long, and when it finally shows up, it's like, oh my gosh, what do I do with this? You know, it's like we prepare ourselves for what we want, and then when we finally get it, it's like, whoa, I don't know how to handle this, and it might feel kind of like a crisis. It might feel anxiety producing, or like you know, oh my gosh, what do I do? You know, it's like that kind of feeling. For very few people, this might represent something that had happened like last week or recently that is bringing about this balance. But I think for most of you, it's just like, this is so good that it's like, it's kind of freaking you out. Okay. Okay. And then we have like, there's some kind of block to a friendship. Okay. What I think is really interesting about this is that if we're talking about a long distance relationship, that block could be just literal miles, or you know, kilometers, whatever unit of measurement you use. You know, it could be like a physical barrier, like distance. You know, so it's like, it's like, you know, this might be a situation where you're blocked from this person, like, or the only thing that's going wrong, you know, if you can say that, is that this person lives a really far way away from you. My best friend lives, across the globe from me, and it's kind of frustrating sometimes, you know. Sometimes I just want to go, like, hang out, and that's it. But yeah, it's just, you know, I don't feel like this is a negative thing, though. I don't feel like, I mean, what I'm saying is that I don't feel like your friend is going to block you, for example, you know, or anything like that. I just feel like there's some kind of barrier between you and one of your friends, and this person's very loyal to you. You know, we've got the dog energy, loyal, very, you know, very supportive, always there, always, you know, are always, you know, there when they're able to be, you know, that kind of thing. Okay. Oh, interesting. I didn't even look at this first. We also have the rhino spirit, which I don't know if you can read this word, but it's overcome any obstacle. Look at this. You've got the block, you've got the obstacle right here, okay? So this is reminding you that you can overcome this, okay? If you are in a long distance relationship, you know, you can overcome that distance. If you're not in a long distance relationship, this is just some other kind of obstacle that you're dealing with. It has to do with a friend or has to do with a loved one, okay? And just know that you can overcome that, okay? Things are going to be okay. I really feel like this is a reassuring card, okay? Things are going to be okay. And really, if you're dealing with some tower energy, it's nice to know that. and remember, I'm reading for just this week, okay? So you're going to be experiencing this obstacle and also gaining the knowledge and the info on how to overcome it as well, okay? This could be something very small. Or it could be something really huge, okay? So by something very small, let's say maybe, you know, one of your friends can't get to your house because their car broke down. So you overcome the obstacle by going and picking them up. But for them, it's like a tower moment, and they're like, oh my gosh, you know, and you're able to be very even, you know, in your thoughts and mind, and, you know, and bam, there, you know, there's how your reading applies. But just know that, you know, it doesn't necessarily have to be something huge. So really keep that in mind, okay? And then we also have determination, which definitely goes with overcoming obstacles. I'm seeing a big theme here, okay? So we've got an obstacle, maybe distance, maybe a longing, something like that. But you're determined to overcome it. You can overcome it. It might be something that's like really huge change, but how you overcome it is by balancing your thought and your thoughts in your heart, okay? Balancing them so that they become more like a conviction in your soul. It becomes more of action, okay? You turn your thoughts and your emotions into action or a belief, for example, that helps guide you, okay? That's how you get through this, okay? This is a great reading. I love how the cards play with one another in this one, and I really love how, you know, we've got this thing showing up. It's like, okay, so there's some kind of block, there's some kind of obstacle, and then we've got two cards that are like basically instructional. It's really nice when that happens, especially for general readings, because, you know, these kinds of things happen in private readings all the time, but when we're talking about general readings, you know, usually so many people have picked pile number 6 that like this particular thing can't apply to everybody, right? So I get a more general feel, but this is very specific. So, you know, I'm kind of excited for you guys to kind of get over something that's been bothering you. Really, that's great. And also just use the Emperor and the King of Cups as just the awareness that, you know, there's the head issues and heart issues, and they, you know, and sometimes they conflict, and in order to solve them, you've just got to use both of them, okay? You've got to use both your head and your heart in order to solve. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching my reading today. I do want to say that I love all of the great comments and feedback that I'm getting. I also am so excited. I am almost at 10,000 subscribers, you guys. I mean, and I'm so close that I don't even feel like I need to ask you to like try to share or whatever to get me, you know, more. I've never ever had to ask. It's really interesting. It's just happened. But I am so excited about that milestone. It's a big deal to me. keep giving me feedback, give me honest feedback. If you don't want to post it publicly, go ahead and send me an email. Many people do, okay? I'm very reachable, okay? And yeah, so you can always do that as well. You can send me an email. That's in the description, okay? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you tomorrow with another pick a card reading.